Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I wanted to talk about a very important topic. And this topic was sparked by a subscriber who made a comment on a video that really touched my cartoon heart. And I'm so glad she wouldn't let this horrible dynamic narcissists love to play out on their kids ever take hold in her life. And we can also see this dynamic play out in society as well. Because most of what we see in society, it's almost a mirror image of what we went through in our toxic home of origin. And I will say this. Talking about how narcissism and narcissistic abuse relates to what we are seeing in society isn't taking a side for this person or that person. However, it is taking the side of Jesus Christ. The side of peace. The side of love. And the side of truth. And for those that don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. Except, may God touch your heart. With that said, those that pull the levers in society love to make people feel like they are unable to be in control of their own lives. They don't want you to earn a proper living. They don't want you to have a family with love. They don't want you to have hobbies and things that bring joy to your life. It sounds an awful lot like a narcissist mother or father, doesn't it? You see, the narcissist parent or parents has to act like to the outside world they are a caring and loving parent. But to make sure you never get ahead in life. And if they can, they might get you to become sick somehow or disabled. And as I've talked about before, sometimes the super rich narcissist parents will encourage bad spending habits in their children, so they will become dependent in other ways, always needing to come back home for financial help. Either way, this narcissist parent wants you to feel like you can't make it without them. And the reason why they do this is because you are a prime narcissistic supply. Because you see, when you are around such an evil person, they will manufacture and create so much chaos in your life. And they will feed on it all day and night long. And again, convincing their children they are sick when they aren't. Or if they do have a legit issue, they don't try to teach them how to work around it. They work extra hard to make such a child feel like they will never have a normal life. And when you do something great, they won't make you feel like it. And they will either find a way to put it down or they will just ignore it completely. I've shared clips before of Sylvester Stallone, where his daughters are interviewing him. And when he gets to the end of talking about his mother, his abusive evil mother, and you see the shock in the face of his daughters as Stallone shares the painful stories of his childhood. And when he gets to the end of sharing a story about his mother and her evil toxic nature, one of his daughters flat out asks Stallone, "Did your parents ever say they were proud of you?" And he paused for a second and said, "No." Then he paused again. And this time he, at almost 80 years old, had the look of a lost child in his face. And he said again, "No." And right away my mind went to round 14 of the first Rocky movie. And the scene they show again at the beginning of Rocky 2. And when you see that scene, it's almost impossible to not get choked up. And knowing how many millions of people's lives his work, especially that movie, touched, I can say this. I believe with all my little cartoon heart that God knew I needed to see that movie. Especially that scene as a young child. Because God knew I would need to have the will to keep on going. Because He knew my life was going to be difficult. Especially while growing up. But when you hear how horribly bad Stallone's parents treated him, and you see that lost look in his face as he's asked, "Did your parents ever say they were proud of you?" And he answers no. That answer should be led right into round 14. Of him stumbling across the ring, barely able to stand up. Because that's how these types of people and parents want you to feel. Because I'm pretty sure Slice mother Jackie would have been perfectly happy had he let his educational problems get the better of him, as he was in every slow learning class that existed at school. I was too. And I'm sure she would have loved it if he went the route of being unable to make it and unable to function. Because then, she could have told all of her neighbors on how bad of a kid he is. And without her he can't function. And before you know it, here comes the disability train coming. It's rarely late. It's rarely late. They love getting their children on the system and convincing them they have to stay on it. But if you look around, isn't that what is happening in society? Those that run the show don't want you to keep going. They don't want you to have any sort of hope whatsoever. But this is where you keep going. You keep going. And you see things for what they are. Because the more people are doing well in life, the less the puppet masters are needed. And thus they no longer have anything or anyone to feed on. You see, the narcissist parent isn't afraid of you leaving the nest. They are afraid they will lose you as narcissistic supply. And those that run the show are afraid of the same thing. Because they, like your narcissist parent, operate on a negative vibration. And it seems all they are doing is doing more and more evil. Because they want Satan and his demons to be able to show up. But they have a big problem. And that is Jesus Christ. So please keep praying. And keep doing the best you can where you are with what you have at the moment. And please know God is with you. With that said, I do hope your day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.